Good day to all. Today will be a small review of my new motorcycle, Yamaha DragStar. This is already a full-size cruiser, that is. There is a motorcycle of this class, a little smaller in size, and this is already a full-size beauty. This is what it is. This is gorgeous. This is. So let's go over the technical characteristics. Look, it turns out well. Accordingly, a 2-cylinder engine. Its capacity is 400 cubic centimeters. In principle, it is quite enough for it. Well, that is. There is, look, I can tell you for myself how. If you ride it purely in the city, if you ride it, let's say, purely in the city there in the village or some populated areas, then in principle it's 400 cc is in principle enough. Well, that's it. Purely for me. Well, their speedometer turns out standard, it goes 180 kilometers for them. But it has its own 180, as it were. I don't know, just a standard Yamaha. The speedometer turns out to be a motorcycle. Original Yamaha, that is. It was bought from Japan at an auction, but personally, I've already survived on it. It turns out the maximum 145. I got this motorcycle not from the showroom, that is. He took it, I did not. New, that is. Of course you can say that it is generally like new from the showroom and all that, but no, we took it second hand, that is. I have it already. Turns out to be the second owner. But the first owner rode it for a couple of years and just bought himself basically the same Maha, only already a liter 100, that is in. It did not suit him in terms of cubic capacity, that is. He wanted more, and for me and this in principle, and for now it is enough to ride, so to speak. Well, see what it is, and there we will decide whether to take more cubic capacity or leave this one. But for me, it's just this one. It just takes me. It's very beautiful in appearance. I have such, namely culling and all these stickers. Have never seen such. Namely, the style is very beautiful. Our motorcycle is from 2006. This is still carburetor, and if I'm not mistaken, 2008 are already injector here. 2006 here is the key. Standard like this Yamaha, but here is a built-in immobilizer key. That is, here is such a sensor with a regular key, like so to speak, without an immobilizer, and you won't start the motorcycle. That is specifically, this is made motorcycle, the whole system. By the way, the motorcycle alarm is also installed. That's all. The ignition switch turns out to be on the right, not like we are used to there. Let's say on the Delta it is here located, or something like that. Here we have purely like this. Here is a tank. What else is there? Let's go back here. There is nothing here on all choppers, cruisers. In principle, we have the ignition switch is located here. Insert here and turn. So here it lights up, then the panel. Here we will always have it on neutral gear here. If anything, we will have a check pop up. Engine, God forbid. Of course, here we have indicated the turns and high beam. It turns out the indicator is a very cool thing. A generally gorgeous thing, that is. It shows fuel level in general, ideally so. To say mileage here I have now. How much this motorcycle has driven in total and in principle, then here we have. So these are our daily allowances, if I'm not mistaken. Mileage time shows, yes, these are two daily mileage. Here you can reset. Let's throw it away, reset all this daily mileage. If you are interested, just you note how much you drive in a day. We reset. And in principle, yes, this time again. Here everything reset, all this to mileage. It turns out that it is possible for it to be on the daily mileage stood here a. It is possible for the total mileage or time you have, as if it showed on the steering here, on the joystick, so to speak, for all control level here. In principle, what? Well, yes, here it is already a little more interesting than on the Delta helmet. A little. Now I will take off game. Here it turns out there is an engine stop. Then there is an emergency light. Here we press. We have an emergency light. It blinks, and Turn signals in the back too, all this stuff. The emergency light even blinks, there is such a thing. And so on, we have a signal. Turn signals. Displayed here is the low beam, high beam, and there is also a button, it turns out. Blinking. High beam. Also such a cool thing here. And then we move on to the baku. We have a baku. Our motorcycle is quite small, you know, for 400 cubes in principle. 5 liters it is in a mixed cycle, that is 49, well, let's round it up to 5 liters in principle. There is a 16-liter tank. And if it turns out to be 5 liters per 100 kilometers, then in general, in principle, not bad. Further, we have such small mirrors here, everything is basically native here. Also the clutch, all this stuff harder. A little bit of clutch here. Brakes. It turns out that we have brakes here already. Disc brakes here we have already. Disc brakes. And so you will get further, we have here. A headlight is here, but the headlight is the only thing. Here is not a native, this is our headlight. We have from Harley Davidson, I think everyone knows here. There was a native such a small headlight, and the previous owner said that, well, in short, we didn't like that it somehow very shined weakly, and he put this. Such a Harley Davidson, and this shines just generally like on a car, if honestly very good light, especially on. In general, yes, in principle it fits in as if by design, in principle. Like this here is here. A huge such a fork, and if I'm wrong, inverted, like if anything, correct me. We have a wing, we have wings here basically. We have everything here plastic, this is plastic. Basically the back part is all the same. Plastic here. All these moments are also plastic. Yes, here we have a huge air filter, in principle you can take it. Video about it too. And on this motorcycle already, by the way. More hassles than for example on Delta, let's just say with consumables, I just changed the oil once season and that's it, but here you already change. First you change the oil. 22 and 6 liters somewhere there should be written. Hard to see, 26 years in general oil here. Modal is good here, of course, then. What else here? Change the air filter every year and change this oil filter too. Here is the oil filter, that is the air oil, and the oil itself is obtained as a whole. Here, and also from consumables here. This motorcycle, I really liked it. It is on Cardan, that is this motorcycle here on Cardan. What is so great about it? Because in principle you need to change the oil in Cardan every 2 or 3 years. Someone even more, well, like longer, changes it because there is nothing for it to get dirty with oil there. If honestly that is oil fits in here. 250 milliliters or something like that. Here is a breather, that is check the level. Fill in oil there, drain well, that is. Everything is very easy here. A Cardan, well. That is a very cool thing, very. I have a Cardan, I'm not mistaken. There are such like high-speed Cardans. Either for traction, this is what I have. As far as I know of the average type, that is. This, and for traction, for speed, this is. Of the average type, that is, there are no stars here. You understand, there are absolutely no stars here. Here is a Cardan, everything is more here. No leading houses of stars, absolutely. No, just a Cardan. Oil needs to be changed every 2 or 3 years, and in principle this is where the maintenance of the Cardan will end. It is completely unpretentious like this. And then I get on a motorcycle. There is also this protective glass, I think it is called a windshield on the highway. I tried it, very honestly saves well, like. Conclusions sit here still very, by the way. Comfortable fit, just the maximum. Well, get to that, look you. Basically you sit down, here it is. You are somewhere at neck level plus or minus. That's it doesn't let air through at all, well, it kind of repels air in general, that is, in short, it is very. This windscreen thing is cool in principle. Pretty much on the highway especially very. It saves well, so let's move on here. Let's say the seats are like this here. The saddle looks ill, say so for the driver. Everything is made very conveniently. Firstly, a very good fit you seem to. Not that you are sitting straight, you are lying down, that is here it turns out like this. Not yet like that saddle, and it turns out legs. Here we have no legs at all here, and you kind of stretched out your legs. Generally sat down calmly, that is very comfortable for a passenger. For a driver, for a passenger, well, like this. That's it. I would like a small one, of course. More, to be honest, here for the passenger. The saddle is not very wide. A little bit, well, kind of oaky, I would like it a little bit higher, but for the driver everything. They did it really well. That's basically it. Regarding the speeds, like here in principle, everything switches. Here's the one. We have a gear shifting paw. Look here, we have 5 speeds on this 5-speed motorcycle, but to switch, our speeds are basically like on all Soviet motorcycles and on new ones. In principle, look, the first one is down. All the rest are up, you pressed it. We have the first one down, then a little bit, that's it. That's how we caught the neutral back, and after we raise the neutral like this, up we have the second, third, fourth, and fifth. Actually, the first one is down. Then we have up, neutral, and all our other gears are like go up. So it means by wheels, yes, we have. It turns out here in front we have a disc brake, here is the wheel itself, we have 19 here is like this, and in the back we have, for some reason, by the way, here is a drum brake, yes, although further they go by motorcycles I looked already go as if disc everywhere, but and somehow like that, well, and special clothing on spoke, here spoke for 100 such capitals cost, so therefore the wheel we have 15. Then they go, we have legs here for passenger on the back side, are so itself here is such an exhaust pipe too. We have elbows coming out of the motor, it turns out. On some Yamahas in principle specifically. On this one like this, all this happens, and on some pits there older years, let's say so, I have one here is such an exhaust pipe they have. It turns out 2 elbows not like this go as if they do not connect into one exhaust here, somehow separately to go. Well, I have here in principle somehow here stands further on the brakes, yes, we have. It turns out here such a huge rear brake paw drum here. We have a front handle here. Well, what else in principle here we have? There is a glove compartment here in principle models. We have a small glove compartment, and here it is. We have one like this, just like this here. Lid, this is such a huge one here. Further, we also have a suction here. Air like this here, it is, well, in principle nothing special, that is purely from the air. Here there it turns out that it is from carburetors too, respectively 2 boilers, 2 carburetors over there, that's all the matter. And here, what else is here? And there is one like this. A lock here, you can either a helmet here hang fasten it like, or something else, but for that's it. That's basically it. But then ask where I have here shock absorbers, it'll tell you I have one. The shock absorber is big, and it's here under the saddle. To get to it you need, of course, to completely disassemble the saddle here, and then you'll get to it here. It turns out it's here, it turns out one such big shock absorber under saddle. Well, in principle it plays its role very well. Our motorcycle weighs 250 kilograms completely with oil filled with a tank of all this stuff. 250 kilograms it weighs, and this one shock absorber plays its role very well on potholes, very well, that is not even due to the fact that you are sitting and the passenger is there and you have a soft ride. No, it itself controls its weight and moves very softly in general. The battery on this motorcycle is located on the right side. This is our alarm work, damn so okay. Let's turn it on for now. Our battery is located on the right side of the motorcycle behind this cover. Like this it is huge of course. The battery is here. According to acceleration, if I'm not mistaken, it goes up to 100 kilometers in about 5 seconds. And somewhere accelerated it in 6 I have. Checked in principle that well in principle what? Else to say well as if yes 145 maximum. Squeezed in principle these passports indicate somewhere. 140-150 somewhere should go on 145 with. It survived as if maybe once still plays. Big as if it plays a role in principle. Let's show how it also starts. So it turns out that for starters we leave. Turn the key. Lit up then we. Be sure to check that it is in neutral. Well by the way there is a system provided here that if you have a motorcycle stands in gear but accidentally you put and forgot if you motorcycle stands in gear then you have a button well you won't turn the starter here there are no as if legs how to start here only. It turns out you start from the starter. It turns out so we did it all lights up. We have neutral here like this removed. Press the starter. What about the gas? Immediately automatically lights up. Light in principle in Japan this is done for. So that well like the light on the motorcycle was around the clock that is I can't turn it off absolutely that is here. There is no just to turn off the light that is. Our low beam will be on all the time absolutely all the time in principle. In Japan it is so provided here. By sound now I will show what we have. It turns out. In general of course. Well somehow like this in principle this is how it turned out. A small review of the motorcycle. Yamaha DragStar 400 thanks to everyone for viewing by everyone.